Hello, I hope you're well. Different venue, as you will have noticed from the background. Um, Needs must. Quite a few people in the house today, including Grandad. I think he's having a nap, and I wouldn't want to disturb his nap, and I wouldn't want his nap to disturb me making this vital video. Normally, I record the videos in my bedroom, which is top of the house, and where Grandad is right now is on the next level down. And this is far too much information about how I go about filming YouTube videos. So let's get to the subject. I'm looking down because I have made notes. It's not just going to be completely random. I'm going to be talking about autism pride, the notion that, we can be proud to be autistic. Well, first thing I really ought to say, it's not on my notes, is if you are proud to be autistic, then great. I'm quite jealous, to be honest, if you're proud to be autistic. Um, I'm not. But that's not to say that I'm ashamed of being autistic. I'm not ashamed either. Uh, I just accept that I am autistic. I'm very neutral about it. But, the comments that I received in response to the announcement that I was going to make this video, genuinely made me reassess what autistic pride is, and the notion of being proud about anything. So thank you to everyone who took time to, share their thoughts about autism and pride and being proud of being autistic and being proud of other things in life. It really got me thinking, so thank you. So yeah, I'm not proud of being autistic. I'm not ashamed of being autistic. But if you are proud to be autistic, then great. Why would I begrudge someone's, good feelings about being autistic? For me, like I said, it's just I am autistic. I had no involvement in the makeup of my brain, and when I think of the concept of pride, I relate it to achievement, like a conscious effort to achieve something. I didn't consciously strive to be born. I didn't consciously strive to be born autistic. I had no involvement in the matter, the literal matter of me. I'm just here, trying to muddle along like everyone else. That said, the muddling along, I think can be a source of pride. I mean, if you are proud to be autistic, great, as I've said about 3 times now. But for me, I still relate pride to achievement, conscious effort. And I think I'm allowed to be proud of being resilient as an autistic person in a world that's not designed for me. I'm proud of my resilience for getting through the last 43 years, having been misunderstood and shunned, excluded, through no fault of my own, because I'm autistic and the majority of people are not, and we're just not on the same wavelength. It's just a difference in communication. So I have this heavy sense of rejection and trauma because I've been mistreated, as well as being misunderstood and ignored and excluded. So, and that makes me feel that it's very hard for me to feel pride in anything that I do, because I've had so many knockbacks and I've been misunderstood so consistently. But that said, I am proud, not extremely proud, like, yay, look at me, but I have to admit that I am proud that I've got this far because of my resilience. I've managed to get this far despite being autistic in a neurotypical world. And again, I have to emphasize that's not to suggest that autism is a bad thing. It's just a difference. It's a neurotype. But yeah, a minority, and I have to give myself some credit for working in a world where the majority don't understand me. Um, so yeah, I'm going to come back to my notes. So yeah, I don't suffer from autism. Autism isn't a weakness. It's not an illness. It's not a deficiency. It's a different neurotype. It's a neurotype. So while I'm saying I'm not proud of being autistic, I'm not ashamed of being autistic. I don't suffer from autism. I suffer from ignorance. I suffer from misunderstanding. I suffer from, or have suffered from, bullying, um, which I think you can relate to me being autistic. Maybe taking people at their word, like taking people literally, and people exploiting that tendency of mine. That tendency of mine, which comes from me being autistic. So yeah, I don't suffer from autism. I suffer from the treatment that other people have given me. And I think many autistic people have suffered and do suffer, not because of their autism, but because they get mistreated by people who don't want to appreciate that they're autistic, that they're different, that, everyone should be valued, whatever, whether they're autistic or neurotypical or ADHD or whatever. But yet, it seems to me, dare I say, a particularly neurotypical mindset to have this sort of arbitrary hierarchy of brains. Like some brains are better than others. But I just fundamentally don't believe that some people are inherently better than others. I think we should all be appreciated and valued. We're not here very long. We might as well, help each other while we're here. And my politics aren't very complicated, as you can tell. So I'm going to come back to my notes and a couple of quotes that I've asked permission to share. And the first one is from MJ, who has her own great YouTube channel called Zebra Not Horse. Thank you, MJ, for allowing me to quote you. And thank you, Tim, as well. So I'll get to yours in a moment. So MJ said, "I'm proud to be autistic because I lived a life of shame for not being like others and feeling like a broken human. I was never proud of myself. Knowing I'm autistic gave me a sense of pride and self-acceptance. I'm not broken. I'm beautifully wired in my own way." Hear, hear. I just think that's a beautiful quote. I also, until I found out that I'm autistic, lived a life of shame because, like I said, I've been misunderstood so many times, excluded, and those experiences accumulate to a point where you have this perception that you're just a bad person because most people in the world aren't getting you. They don't want to be with you. They don't want to speak with you, and you internalize that. So yeah, knowing I'm autistic gave me a sense of pride and self-acceptance. I'm not broken. And I think, that's MJ's quote, as well as being really beautiful, is really thought-provoking, as so many other quotes were when I asked a question or made the announcement that I'm going to make this video. Really got me thinking. And like I said 4 times now, if being autistic gives you a sense of pride, fantastic. I definitely agree, for myself, that it's given me a degree of self-acceptance. It's given me permission to be me. And if I want to make a YouTube video and it takes me hours, and I hyper-focus on that, well, obviously I wouldn't be making those videos if I hadn't realized that I'm autistic. But knowing I'm autistic gives me permission to spend time on my special interests because I find that they help me cope in this chaotic, often unpleasant world. So the knowledge has given me self-acceptance, which allows me to forgive myself for challenges and allows me to embrace what I enjoy doing. And dare I say, sometimes the things that I can be quite good at. Um, but I never feel so good at things that I feel very proud. And again, that comes back to just that accumulative effect of not being liked. And that may sound like a sob story, but that's just the way I feel. And this is an unscripted video, and maybe if I had scripted it, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't be so honest. But I'm autistic. I like being honest. Dare I say, I'm programmed to be honest. That's the way my brain is made up. So Tim has said, pride is a word I really struggle to understand or relate to. Whenever I hear it or read it, my mind goes straight to the definition about pride in one's achievements. Autism isn't an achievement. I didn't have to work hard to become autistic. Why should I feel proud to be autistic? If anything, I perhaps feel some pride at what I've achieved despite being autistic. Yeah, I think I've kind of said that, or made a similar point to that last sentence about being proud despite being autistic. And by that, I mean being resilient. I'm proud to have overcome so many instances of not being welcomed, and that gnaws away at your self-esteem. Well, it has done for me anyway. So I'm proud that I've not allowed that accumulative effect to do me in completely. I'm proud to have found this community on YouTube. I got the diagnosis, and not only have I, the realization and then the formal diagnosis, but I'm proud that I'm doing my tiny bit for autism advocacy. And don't we need it? Especially now when you're in a world where people like, was it the Robert Kennedy Jr., senior US politician, is talking nonsense about autism and just making advocacy and autistic people's lives even harder than they need to be. And here I am making this YouTube video in my tiny corner of the internet. But, together we will correct the narrative that certain individuals want to promote. So yeah, I get that about achieving despite being autistic, but I have to again emphasize this isn't to say that autism is a negative thing. It's because we're a minority in a world designed for the majority, and it takes a lot to survive in a world like that. So I didn't have to work hard to become autistic. So again, that's linking autism pride with achievement, and I had no say in whether I'm autistic or not, so I can't really feel proud about being autistic because there was no conscious effort on my part. And so yeah, I'm with Tim on that. Pride is a word that I struggle to relate with in terms of being autistic and generally about doing things well in life, because I've said quite a bit about that already, about that accumulative effect of being made to feel inferior through no fault of my own. And you might relate to that as an autistic person, particularly I'd suggest as a late diagnosed autistic person. I was aware that when I put up the announcement that I was going to make this video, that the mention of the word pride would make people think of gay pride or LGBTQ AI plus pride. I hope I've got the letters right, and I'm not to be flippant, but you know, I'm autistic. I'm concerned about accuracy, and I don't want to offend anyone ever. Um, so I was mindful that does that link with the word pride, um, and I'm all for LGBTQAI plus pride. I'm all for it because um, we should celebrate difference. And again, I'm making this video at a time when there's this ruling, the Supreme Court ruling that, from what I can gather, is only going to make lives harder for transgender people. I mean, the world has a lot of problems, but picking on transgender people isn't going to solve them. And so that justifies even more pride marches, pride events for transgender people, and so on, because the point of those pride events is to assert people's identity and say, I deserve to be here. They're a celebration of diversity, but they're very political because they're saying to certain people in this world, I deserve to exist. And so, yeah, again, that made me reassess my notion of pride because, one, I'm not proud of being autistic. It feels that we have to have these sort of public demonstrations or exhibitions, YouTube videos to say, I'm here, I deserve to be here, don't mistreat me. So pride serves a purpose in that regard. It's a political act that says, I deserve to be here, I'm equal, I'm not inferior to neurotypical people, I'm not inferior to the white, predominantly white ruling class. And so here we are, insisting that pride marches and minorities, deserve respect. And so it's a celebration of diversity, pride. And, I'm just one autistic voice amongst many autistic voices. I want lots of YouTube videos, YouTube channels to be in existence. I want people to be accepted for who they are. But increasingly, we have to do the advocacy for ourselves. And arguably, that is a source of pride. Am I proud of my own YouTube videos? In a way, because I'm speaking up for myself, and I hope that I'm speaking up for other people. But it's not pride to say, hey, look at me, I'm making increasingly serious videos when I used to make slightly funny ones. I just feel compelled to use the platform that I have to try and make a positive difference. I'm kind of proud that I feel that obligation. But I don't walk around and say, hey, look at me, I've got a YouTube channel. Or maybe some people would say I do that. If I do say that, and that's because I want people to say, oh, right, here's £50,000 a year to just sit at home and make YouTube videos. So yeah, it's not to say I'm Mr. YouTuber. It's just, yeah, gives a job. Yeah, I want someone to fund this passion of mine. And there are lots of I'm hesitating because I'm talking about inferiority and superiority, but there are better videos out there, clearly. Better content, more coherent, better production values, and so on. But I stick to what I said about the more autistic voices that I heard, the better. The more transgender voices that I heard, the better. And so on and so on. Because we need to speak up for ourselves, because more and more so, sadly, there are attempts to suppress us sort of out of existence, or just to not hear us, um, to actively make our lives miserable, to misrepresent us. And I can't be having it, not while I'm here. So yeah, I think that's me done. I don't want to just keep repeating what I've already said. I think there's probably quite a bit of repetition in this video as it stands. Um, yeah, once again, just want to say thank you to everyone who took the time to, comment about Autistic Pride. Happy to keep the conversation going. The community post is still there. You can email me. Um, but yeah, if you are proud of being autistic, I am all for it. I'm pretty neutral about it. I am autistic. I am a human being. I am here. I'm pretty neutral about that. But if pride is a way of asserting that we deserve to exist and be treated fairly, then I'm all for autistic pride. So, as always, thanks for listening. Take care and see you around for the next video.